Okay, I'm back. It's the next day, actually. I went in on last night about the time that I shocked myself by forgetting to discharge a capacitor. I did that last night again, and anyway, so that was a bit of a wake up because of the fact that I pulled the copper bits out of the channel there. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting voltages that I wanted, and then when I turned it off, I didn't even think about it. So what happened is I was trying to get some more solder to go up to the top of the pads from the bottom, and I melted the solder, and the minute I touched it with the solder, that was quite a yelp. But anyhow, so as I suspected, once I took out these T-pos, they are leaky. Which one is which? They were all leaking about the same. Let's see here. So now watch this one go down to 0. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I tell you, these things make a liar out of me. One of these was leaky. It never got below 100. This one? Let's see. Yeah, this one's gonna go to 0, watch. Yeah, like I said, this thing makes a liar out of me. It must have been the other one. I don't even know. Oh, it's over there. I'm not going to test it because it's going to make a liar out of me. I sat here for 5-10 minutes and it would not zero out. Anyhow, so I have the Nichicons in. Everything is in as far as the electrolytics go. And I'm just starting to move these, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I also went through here and some of the connections were had been coming a little bit loose, so I tightened those up. Not a whole lot to do on this since it's not 50 or 60, 70 years old. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move these up to the front, and I will be back. Alrighty, I moved 4 of the coupling caps. I just realized that I had thought about this before and ended up putting these on the bottom because they wouldn't all fit on top. So there's taken up quite a bit of room up here. This should still close, but the other 2 capacitors would not fit on the board without they would have been touching the tube, the 6GH8. So another thing I was gonna do was, I don't like these blue LEDs, but another project I have coming up I've been reading about, and as much as everybody talks about LEDs nowadays being for lighting, I do have to remember that they are diodes. So I'm not quite sure when I look at this if these diodes are being used for illumination or if they also have a diode type purpose. I'm kind of leaning towards the illumination. I guess I'll have to post something and see if somebody can say something. But one of the projects that I'm going to be working on coming up, basically for biasing of a tube, it uses, well, for one type of tube, it uses a red LED because it has a forward dropping voltage of I think it was, I'm just grabbing here, 1.7, while the other one uses green LEDs because it has a dropping voltage a little bit lower. Sorry, the bias voltage would come out to be 1.7 on one and 1.3 on the other, if I remember that correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them. I just don't like blue LEDs. I think they cause eye strain. But anyway, that's me. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff this back in there. It's going to be a lot of fun because I have to fit the LEDs have to fit through these holes. Anyway, I'll do a little more investigation on that, and for now the blue ones stay. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this back in there. Oh, and I also have to vacuum this thing out. I hadn't cleaned up my solder sucker in a while, and I went to go ahead and push on the plunger here to caulk it, and the top popped off, and a humongous chunk of solder dust, I guess, clumped together came out, and then it ended up all inside here and all over the bench and the floor. So I had to stop and clean that. So I guess I'm going to stop this for the night. Not that you'll necessarily know that, but I'll be back in just a few seconds on the film there, and we'll power this up. I gotta figure out a way to prop this up so I can get the tubes in, because I want to do voltage checks after the tubes are in, and wow, I got crap everywhere. So anyway, I'll be right back. Welcome back again. It's a new night. It's Tuesday. I went ahead and finished up wiring that stuff in, putting the board back as I mentioned. I hooked up the speakers. I replaced the line filter with an X-type 0.01, and the reason why it's so big is because my local electronics store, which I'm very glad to have, only had the 400 volt version X1. So, but not going to complain. They're 12 cents a piece. So, anyway, I bought a whole handful of them. Let's see. So these caps I left down here, as I mentioned. So I'm not going to play with these anymore because they made liars out of me. And I thought I would go ahead and put the tubes in. I hooked up some 4-ohm speakers. You've seen them before. I used one of those for testing the Motorola clock radio, and if you remember, we discovered that if you hook it up to a decent speaker, those 50C5s actually produce some nice sound. But anyhow, so I'm going to go ahead and put the tubes in, and then we're going to go ahead and test some voltages. Let's see. I am back all the way. Before I go ahead and put everything back together, I'm already kind of missing this, so I'm very curious as to what the voltages are on the signal tubes. When I tested the voltages with nothing in the system, I was getting 400 volts on the plates for the signal tubes, and I shouldn't. I think it's only supposed to be 200, but anyway, just realized that I did not get the EL34s out, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. These are the Pavane or Pavane. This is their UK tube. Anyway, I think they sound kind of nice. And they've got black plates, which, for all I know, could just be coloring, but I'm assuming that it might be carbonized, because they still allow such things in China, where these are made. Okay, and then I'm not going to have this on long enough for these to be get that hot. I did kind of contemplate replacing the tube sockets with gold-plated ones, but after having the issue with the removing tube sockets on the other motherboard on the Motorola, I just kind of wasn't in the mood. Alright, so now I'm going to be real careful because I keep having this little nightmare vision of tipping this over and smashing $75 worth of tubes. Probably should have, well anyway, we'll just be careful. Otherwise you'll see me cry, or hear me cry. Alright, so this is turned on, speakers are connected. I did totally forget the cable and my iPod, but I guess I'll grab that in a minute. We're going to test voltages. So, let's go ahead and power this up. Ooh, gee, you know, I also just realized this is going to peg my ammeter, because this thing takes 175 watts. But I guess we'll kind of find out. Maybe it only takes that much when it's on running music. Alright, I've got glowing tubes, and I do not have glowing plates, so that's a good sign. Oh, here it goes. I hope this meter can handle it, otherwise I'll be spending $12 on a new meter. And we're past 1 amp. I don't think it's hit this. Alright, well, we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test plate voltages here. So I'm going to hook up to the chassis ground. Eventually. There we go. Alright, so according to my specs here, sockets V1 and V4, which are here and here, let's see, we should have a voltage on pin 1 of 280. Oop, forgot the speakers were connected. Ooh, I have 301. I don't know if I should be worried about that. Let me see what that's probably right at the limit of the tube. Let's see. Fit width. Full maximum. Okay, well I guess we're okay. Alright, well, it's 330 max, so we're not at the max. But it is a little high. I don't know if I should be concerned about that. I don't know if I've ever tested this before. Okay, so we should have no volts on pin 2. And it's 0.001. So 41 on pin 3. 38, that's close. 4 and 5 should be 6.3, and I'm actually not expecting to get anything because that's DC. Alright, pin 6 is 75. Yeah, interesting, 57. Alright, 7 should be 1.2, we are. 8 should be 80. 67. And 9 should be 75. And that's 57. All right. So let me go through this tube here. How do I have 0 volts? I know the amp works. That's interesting. And I know the tubes work. They did the other day. No. 1.3. 55. 75. Interesting. Well, everything looks happy. I don't know why I would be getting... And obviously it's producing sound. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and test the other sockets. So pin 1 should be 1.54. Close. Pin 2. Oh, that's the filament. 3 is the plate. That's what we're most interested in. 410, and it's 410. And 4 should also be 410. 5 is negative 29, so that's close. Huh. I'm supposed to have no volts on pin 6. Isn't that funny? Because like I said, this thing works. I wonder if it's because there's nothing, there's no output, but... And that's right, 1.54. Well, I guess that I should do a little searching around here. So I get, oh, I was getting that anyway. And on pin 6, I shouldn't be getting anything. And this should be 1.2, pin 7. Okay. Yep, I'm looking at the wrong pins, damn it. Okay, negative 29, 0, oh, 7 is not right, 8. So where was I getting voltage that I shouldn't be getting it? So I'm getting 410 on pin 6. On the front of the right side, let's take a look here. Okay, so what was that again? That was pin... Okay, so this is going to turn out to be something stupid, like I went to the wrong pin. Yep, there we go, pin 6. But on this side... I'm not supposed to be getting anything, so. And same with this one over here. Nope. So, isn't that interesting? So there's something going on here with pin 6. Alright, so I've got some troubleshooting to do. Pin 6. The schematic's hard to read. Pin 6. Where's 6? 1, 2, 3. 2 and 7, so we should say 1, 3, 4, 5. Maybe pin 6 has no connection. Oh, let me look up the tube. Oh, well, duh. Pin 6 has no connection, so I guess I do that. But I wonder why I have so much voltage on it. Oh, well, okay. Never mind, I figured it out. So, pin 6, here, let me show you this here. Alright, so on the EL34, pin 6 does not have a connection to it, but on the 6CA7, I mean on the KT77, no, nothing's on 6. So they just tied something together on 6 and it's just not right in here, because if you take a look at this, 6 is connected directly to 3, so yeah, that makes sense. So if I looked at the board, I would have seen that there's a trace that goes through 6 and there's no connection. So, and never mind, I guess that means it's good. Although the voltage is, where else was the voltage high? Oh, I'm getting the 300 on pins 1 on both of these tubes. I don't like that. And that one's 313. Lord. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do a little more investigation. So, I'll just check out some resistors, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys, guess I'll spread this into 3, so, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I just wanted to actually add this onto video number 2, because when I stopped for a moment, it dawned on me, before I start going crazy about checking components and whatnot and start replacing stuff. So I went ahead and reversed the tubes, and the voltage follow the tubes. So when let's see here. So here's, if you can read that. Here are the I wasn't supposed to knock the tripod. Alright, so maybe well, anyway, as you can see. So you can see the voltages there. When I reverse the tubes, V1 and V4, like I said, the voltages follow it. So that's kind of interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around. I have a gajillion 6GH8A tubes, so I'm going to play a little bit. So, see what I can do with that, and I'm going to send an email to my tube guru and see what he has to say. He's also a Dynaco guru too, so I'm going to see what he has to say. But anyway, so there will be a third video, if nothing more than to explain what I found and to just play a little bit of music real quick so you all can hear this. So anyway, thanks for watching, and again, I'll see you in the third video.